Forever Skies is one of my most anticipated titles of 2023, and I've been really eager to get my hands on it, so let's get right into it. It's Wave Boogie. From the very opening scene, you're thrown into a unique post-apocalyptic sci-fi setting that feels pretty refreshing. The game wastes no time at setting a tone and teaching you the essentials for your survival. I personally played on hard mode, and would recommend that difficulty for any player. Reason being that the game loop in itself isn't very hard, and the game does a pretty good job at letting you know what needs to be done. You play as a crash-landed astronaut on the future Earth ravaged by a biological disaster. Once you manage to repair your makeshift airship, you're able to fly around the wasteland, stopping at different POIs for resources and conduct research on what happened here. And let me tell you, as a sci-fi nerd, the premise had me all in from the start. Graphically, the game is stunning, with a distinct color palette. The game manages to capture the beauty of a debris-filled planet as far as the eye can see. Weather patterns contribute greatly to its scenery with visible winds and constant weather changes. The electric storms can be terrifying with realistic crackles that could hit your ship and even damage it. All of this greatly contributes to making this world feel real and somehow alive. Sound design is nothing to scoff at either. While the music in itself wasn't award-winning in my opinion, the sound effects greatly contribute to your immersion. Although the voiced AI that alerts you for your vitals, among other things, did get a bit jarring hours into my playthrough, but nothing too serious to start taking points away. The lore is where the game shines. While the gameplay seems very reminiscent of Raft by design, and the tech of Subnautica perhaps, lore is what sets it apart. As you progress through the game, you will at some point unlock a piece of radar tech, which in turn will let you see the story POIs to unearth more lore. I recommend reading through all those notepads you find. Great stuff there for you lore junkies. Later game, you'll have what I call the meat and potatoes of the game. But I want to keep it spoiler-free for you guys, so I'll say this. Once you reach the elevator is where the game fully reveals itself, and at that point, I was in love. However, this is also where the playable story abruptly ends. Yes, that's all we get. I was 8 hours into the game, the infamous elevator segment had me pumped up and ready for another huge POI, and bam, the door shuts. Now please keep in mind, this is a very early access indie title with a lot of ambition, and what was presented was great, but for $23 on launch, including a 20% discount, I think the price of admission is a bit steep. Now granted, they need the funds, and throughout the development of the game, they've been very vocal about it. This is why early access was designed to begin with, so purchase at your own risk if you feel like supporting the project. This game has the potential of becoming a classic of the genre, but ultimately will be contingent on how fast they could push these updates and expansions out. You could go over on their Steam page to look at a detailed roadmap with amazing things in store like 4-player co-op, more story content, new locations, airship upgrades, and gardening, among many other things. But again, how quickly can they achieve it? We've seen this happen time and time again over the years. The excitement from the player base fades out quicker than they can replenish it. But I, for one, will remain hopeful that they can stick the landing. All things considered, I will give Forever Skies, in its current state, a 7 out of 10, with major points taken for how incredibly short this experience was, even in early access. This score is subject to change by the time I do a full release review of it, and don't think this is a dig at them. I want them to win. But now is where we're gonna see what this indie studio is made of. I hope you guys enjoyed my 2 cents on it. Forever Skies is available on Steam in early access right now. Would love to know in the comments if you've enjoyed the game, or perhaps you didn't pull the trigger on it yet. In that case, I hope this review helped you, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out.